One of the most important ways in which individuals differ from one another concerns the ways in which they respond to risk and opportunity. A manager's natural disposition towards risk, their response to it, and their capacity to manage it will distinguish them from their peers and influence their managerial or leadership style. Take Peter, for example. Peter is head of the credit and market risk function for a global financial business solutions provider. Once Peter became aware of his risk type, he was able to better understand the potential for individual biases in his perception of risk. And more than this, he could begin to explore his risk type profile in relation to the demands of the job. At work, Peter would describe his prudent risk style as an advantage to him. This style of behaviour enables him to keep a firm hand on the tiller when the money markets are moving quickly, reassuring those working with him. In his current role, Peter works alongside a sales team. They are more creative and spontaneous with their approach to work. Sometimes they need to be able to think on their feet and get quick responses out of Peter. But as Peter would prefer to take his time, gather his data and put into place a more strategic approach to the decisions he is asked to make, this begins to cause conflict between his approach and that of the sales team. How could Peter really know the impact of his decision-making style on the team around him if he didn't understand himself? This is why we use the risk type compass to look at teams, to help us to identify and manage each individual's risk dispositions. So fast forward. When Peter first started his current job, he realised being a prudent risk type could cause a degree of friction with the sales team, as they usually wanted an immediate decision. Now he thinks he strikes a balance between risk avoidance and risk management. By educating his sales team to realise that he won't always say no, but that when he does say no it's for a good reason, he finds the team now present him with requests that have been pre-filtered or adapted so that they are more likely to get the green light from him. A win-win for both sides. But the story doesn't end there. Peter isn't just part of a team, he forms a part of the organisation as a whole. Risk dispositions vary considerably from individual to individual, have a significant impact on decision-making and are highly consequential. For Peter, as an individual, his risk disposition defines a worldview that influences life's trajectory. In his team, it accounts for group dynamics of conflict or collaboration, and within his organisation, it contributes to shaping risk culture. Fortunately, whilst invisible, risk dispositions can be objectively and reliably measured using the risk type landscape tool, creating a dynamic picture of risk culture based on the risk dispositions of staff. A risk type landscape survey captures reliable and objective risk culture data that can be viewed from a total organisation perspective through to teams and individuals. In words attributed to Peter Drucker, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So why not measure it?